David, how old are you now?
Oh, 40 years old and 7 months.
How old are you now, I ask you 7 times?
Oh, 7. Oh, how old? Oh, 40 years and 7 months. It must be.
You
Yes,
are
it
over.
must be, it must be.
My dear old chap, if you go on thinking that you are the Charlie Chaplin business, my
Well,
dear...
I'm not. I look like him, you're not, so you're clean shaven.
My dear old David, how old are you now?
Well, I can tell you the answer.
Are you 38?
No, 40. 40. 40 years and 7 months.
You are a chap.
Well, I am.
A Camphill village, Yorkshire, 1967. Then it was 12 years old. Now the Camphill movement itself is 50 years old.
What do you give us for a birthday? The flowers?
Oh, yes.
Yes?
Listen, oh, Barbara.
Do you know this color? What is it? Yellow. That's it.
It was in 1967 that I made 2 films about Camphill and their work for children and adults who are mentally handicapped. Since then, the movement has grown rapidly, with new communities for those in need of special care, not just here in Britain, but in countries as far away as Brazil and Botswana. And it all began here on the outskirts of Aberdeen in 1940. I returned to Camphill recently, and for this film I looked at several of their new initiatives, as well as to see, for the first time, something of Camphill's work in the New World.
Okay, Liz, last time we saw Saturn. Now I moved the telescope over a little bit, and right next to Saturn in the sky at this time of year are 2 planets.
Yes.
And on the right, now you only see one in there right now, but look for a very faint greenish, bluish colored ball.
And what's that?
That's the planet Uranus. That's about twice as far away as Saturn is.
How many miles?
Oh, about 2 billion.
How can I see it then?
Well, the telescope magnifies it a lot, so that it makes it easier to see.
I only see Saturn.
Well, no, that's Uranus.
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right in the middle. Voyager 2 visited Uranus several years ago.
Were there people on it?
No, it's very cold there. It's probably 300 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit.
How about on Saturn? What's their temperature?
It's about 290 to 300 below 0 as well.
And does the sun ever shine in Saturn?
It does, but it's so far away from the sun that it doesn't get much heat, so it's very cold.
And how about Uranus? Does the sun ever shine there?
Well, it does there too, but it's colder because it's farther away.
How about Pluto?
It's even colder.
The Camphill movement actually came to America in 1959. Kimberton Hills in Pennsylvania is one of 5 such village communities in the States for adults with special needs.
Standby cameras, please. Let's see. Standby videotape. Okay, videotape, please. Cameras.
I'm a good gardener.
I can help that.
I'm a good gardener.
Come on, Dad.
I work in the garden, and I work with Bertha and Andy Barnwitz. They're nice to me. I really enjoy gardening, picking tomatoes and beans.
What about you, Happy?
Of course, I like ladies a lot.
I'm switched about a microphone.
There were birds on the hill, but I didn't sing. Now I'm so there was
Fred, the pianist, Danny, the gardener, Herbie and Ina all live in Martin's house, one of 17 family households that make up the Kimberton Camphill community.
and there were music and
Can you tell us what you do in the village? What your jobs are?
Yes, I deliver vegetables in the morning, and I usually work with Laurier Griffin in the afternoon.
Hey, Cal, it's heavy. Hey, Cal.
Fred, do you want to do a delivery for me?
No.
You sure? Did you go to Hyacinth today?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you go to Springfield?
No.
Do you want to go there for me?
Nah. I don't feel like it, Bertha.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to the coffee shop again later.
Well, then maybe if you go to Springfield first, then you can go to the coffee shop later, huh? How does that sound?
Nah. I don't feel like delivering.
All right. It's the wrong time of day, huh, Fred?
Yeah.
Where are you going, Fred?
I'm going with Jonathan.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. See, I get hungry a lot, and I can't help it if I get hungry.
You're hungry? But you've just had lunch, Fred.
I know.
What about delivering some vegetables?
No.
Go on.
Nah.
Yeah?
No.
Then you can go to the coffee shop. Yeah?
We can look after this to the coffee shop because I'm treating you.
Are you?
Yep.
Treating all of us?
Sure.
Fine.
Maybe you can take some vegetables to the coffee shop. How does that sound, Fred? You want to do that?
Is that okay, Bertha?
Well, you know, I think it would be nice if you would go for a little walk with some vegetables. They like to take pictures, so that's great. That's why.
Okay.
You want to do it then?
Yeah.
Good job.
Maybe he will. Want to take this up to Claudia?
Yeah.
So that she can take it home?
Yep.
Oh, great, Fred.
Something.
Huh? Oh, no, not that one. All right, Fred.
Bertha, the Mirta, the Fairta, the Lerta, the Gerta, the Bertha, the Bertha.
Great. Thank you for the new song, Fred.
Yeah, I made it up for you.
Yeah, I know. I never heard it before. See you later, Fred.
I'm just going up to the coffee shop.
The coffee shop, together with the neighbouring store, produces an income for the Kimberton community, selling goods made in Camphill workshops, as well as produce from their farms and gardens.
Hi.
Though a large proportion of Camphill's support in the States comes through donations.
You look at?
I live in Martin Camp.
Where?
Martin Camp.
Martin House. Oh, I see. And what do you do here?
I put the bread in the bank.
Oh, yeah, this is very good. We love this bread. We come here and buy it all the time. The rice and, do you like it here at the village?
Yes, I do.
It's a very nice village. What kind is that you're putting in?
Light.
Oh, okay. That's like what they have over at the restaurant, huh?
Coffee shop.
The coffee shop.
Particular thing. And I just decided not to say it.
Is that all? Did you bang them up? We could put them over in the bowl.
Seemed to have an impact.
Oh, then we could ask in the coffee shop if they have them. Or ask in the bakery. Ask Patrick. Okay. In the bakery. So we have 2 buttercorn.
Ina has been at Kimberton for 14 years. She was at a nearby Camphill school as a child. Ina's morning job is in the store, where today they run out of rolls. This afternoon she'll be helping with housework around the community.
And no more rolls? Maybe we can get some from the coffee shop if they're extra.
Yeah, I think...
Ask Claudia if she has any extra rolls that she could sell.
Well, I've been here 13 years. I've been here the longest of anybody can remember, and I just really like to just express my feelings until, you know, what I do. I do a lot of future reference to my perspective, and I just want to do something. I may do something else in the future, and just want to just do everything the best way possible. Yeah.
What would you like to do in the future, Andy, then?
I'll maybe do a touring guide to New York. I went to New York a couple of days ago, and I just want to really express my feelings until something real. You know, I just want to just do something. You never can tell the next 5 or 6 years, and I just like to just do something I haven't done very much lately.
You gotta protect me, Andy.
Hey, 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 hey,
What
hey.
do you do with these potatoes?
They're gonna be eaten up by us. What do you think they'll do?
Well, they're probably naturally good farmers because they're fairly dependable, come to work every day. And I guess they also are very steady in what they set themselves to do.
No, no.
Just as a child often has a relationship with nature which is naive and fresh, you can find that also with people who are, in a sense, less sophisticated. An openness, receptivity, and sometimes inviting things to happen. Can go either way, though. It can invite things to happen that are chaotic, some people, and can also invite things to happen that are unexpectedly harmonious.
I like to try roller skating on the Pewtown Road.
Oh, you can't do that now. It's too dangerous. Too dangerous, Kate. I wouldn't try the Pewtown Road, no. I'll tell you what I'd like to do on TV sometime. I'd like to do a rock and roll show on roller skates. So I wrote the song myself first.
I can't get a snack bar around here. Jesus Christ.
Everyone in Camphill, whether handicapped or not, has a job, sometimes more than one job, but no one receives a wage. The philosophy behind Camphill is that people like to work, yet people also have needs, often different needs. But the two things, work and money, are kept quite separate in Camphill communities.
Do I have to do that tomorrow?
What is your name, miss?
What? Do I have to work
Tomorrow? I don't know. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Oh, we got another one.
The biggest problem with the so-called unhandicapped is their habits of self-put-down and the habits of thinking that an artistic experience is the experience for some kind of an elite that has to do with genius and talent, and that probably what they do won't be good enough, and all of that keeps a person at a distance from sensory experience. Want to do another?
Yeah.
Should I put it up?
Sure.
You should be pleased with yourself, Andy. You should be.
M.C. Richards, the celebrated American potter and writer, has been a co-worker at Kimberton for 5 years.
It's nice, Andy. I like it. You're getting the different strokes now. Not only the branches, but also the curve, the heads.
Yeah.
Yes, and coloring in the whole area. Remember when you started, you had trouble getting the whole area.
You should be pleased with yourself to make such a beautiful picture. If I would try to do it, it would be a disaster.
How long have you lived at Kimberton?
12 years and a few months. I came here May 22nd, 1977.
I can't go anymore?
I've been here. I'm going to stay put as long as I can.
How old are you, Louise?
31. I almost forgot.
Were you hanging up?
What do you do in the day? What jobs do you have?
My schedule's too complicated. Tuesday morning I work at Hyacinth. I clean there. Nancy Garina's house and their household. Her household, I work there. Make it shiny for them. And then I come home, and that's Tuesday.
You make it shiny?
Yeah. I'm great at bathrooms.
She's the finest cleaner in the village. She used to do the cleaning in the hall. She was entrusted with that. But you don't have to do that now.
I just like being around people more now. I'm being more sociable. Not so much a hermit. Because I enjoy people. If I enjoy them, they enjoy me. And I just...
Did you used to be a hermit?
No. Well, I act like one. Yes, I act kind of like one. I used to go up to my room a lot more and stay in there longer. Now I'm up in my room with friends, and I usually up in my room with no friends. And for a while I was anyway.
So life's better now.
Yeah. Gaining my friends back again.
Good.
And gaining new ones. And keeping the old.
Great.
There's a song about make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold.
Well, now, what do you think about this one, Andy?
Spring.
Hmm?
It's spring.
Spring? Is it spring?
Yeah.
It certainly has a lot of the colors of spring, doesn't it? Is it spring out there now? Outdoors?
Mm-hmm.
Some people might think it was autumn, but in the heart of the poet, it's always spring.
One of the Kimberton co-workers, as the staff are called, was working 22 years ago as a house father and music therapist at the pioneer Camphill School in Aberdeen. Christoph Andreas Lindenberg featured in the film I made about Camphill in 1967.
Bring it right over here, please. Now, just look at that chair. Now, what's this? Who did it?
I did.
You thumped on it, did you? Yeah. Andy, come on, we'll turn it around. So.
Don't hit me on the head with it.
No, I won't hit you on the head with it. Well, now we'll have to fashion a piece of wood that fits right in here. Andy, so,
Christoph Andreas went to Camphill in Scotland from Germany in 1950. He moved to America in 1982.
I'll hold it, because all this will have to be straightened out here. Okay? This way round. This way round.
Andy is psychotic and epileptic
and down.
can sometimes be violent and abusive. Like most of us, he's full of contradictions. Despite an autistic tendency, there's a side of him that craves contact, but contact on his terms.
Yeah, a bit more.
This is work, right?
This is work, indeed, yes. I would say so. Come on, because we'll have to glue a piece into this.
When?
No, all the way, all the way. No, use this hand as well.
Is this work?
Mm-hmm. Put both hands on the fire.
How do you know this is work? How do you know?
Hmm?
How do you know?
Well, I just guessed. Andy, you're not looking. Both hands? I mean, both hands. You must use both hands, and only then it really is work. One hand is no work.
Hero of the sun, give us the song, the battle has begun.
Oh, isn't it lovely? And you sing it to me today?
Yeah.
Oh, you're very nice. Come along. Come along. Thank you. Thank you, my dear. Send my hero of the sun. You know it. That's nice. Well, it's an old song.
Are they having supper with us?
Are they having supper with us? I don't know whether they have supper with us, but we can ask them. And you sing in Autumn, St. Michael. Can you sing that too? The harvest let us gather with Michael's aid. The light is for the stars, nor does it fade. And when the corn is cut and the meadows are bare, and onward we will fare. You want to come in too?
Over the hill from Kimberton is Beaver Run, a Camphill school for children with special needs. Just over 50 children live here in small family units. The co-workers live with them. There's no going on and off duty. And there's a deliberate mix of handicaps because of the way that children who are different can often help each other.
You may say how simple, but it is built up on first a minor third, a major third, a fourth.
Christoph Andreas has maintained his deep interest in music therapy from his years at the Camphill schools in Britain. He now gives regular seminars to the trainee co-workers at Beaver Run, along with his former pupil, Kerry Lee.
Is a kind of massage, musically expressed.
Michael is a dreamy child, a child who forgets more than he remembers and who's often unaware of what's happening around him. With this exercise, he has to concentrate on when to stop or when to change rhythm.
Thompson, sing Thompson again. Thompson. Thompson. Very nice, that was much better. And what about you in the corner? Very crash. Oh, my dear, I nearly was blown over by all your names. Can you sing it again? Very crash. Speech is a very direct confrontation. To some children, not even a means of communication, but just being confronted with something that acts sometimes like a shock. Music softens the shock or takes that confrontation away altogether, and they are apt to forget that they are answering a question when they sing.
Out of my deepest heart's desires, of my deepest heart's desires, own free will. I'll see you soon.
You'll see me again, yes, next week sometime, when you come back.
On Friday?
You will be gone on Friday. You'll be gone next week.
I'm going on Thursday morning,
Yes,
so
that's
this
right.
is it.
That's right.
No more Carrie for me.
No more Carrie for you, not for another week.
I have to wait next year then.
Almost. You come back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We'll see each other.
That'd be great.
Yes.
The essence of Camphill's approach to those who are handicapped is an attempt to make contact with that in the person that is not handicapped. They call it the being behind the mask. It is at heart a religious approach, a faith in our spiritual origin and our human potential. A few miles from Kimberton and Beaver Run, also in Pennsylvania, is a new Camphill initiative to help young people with special needs as they move from childhood to adult life. Saltane has been in existence since 1988. It's a small community established by Cornelius and Elizabeth Pietzner.
Well, we were living in Beaver Run, and we were living with the teenagers, the ones who were just about to graduate. And we realized that quite a few of them didn't really have a place to go. And we also realized that many of them were too young to really join an adult community, to take on a life's task. And they were straight out of the school and not really ready for pure work life, so to speak. And so the idea came to us that we needed to see if we could build this kind of bridge community.
Though finance for Camphill's work in America depends largely on donations, some communities do get government support, though that varies from state to state. Camphill say they're wary of becoming too reliant on government money because of restraints and regulations that can then be imposed on their communities.
The lid for them, that I think is in that cupboard below you right there.
Cornelius Pietzner, like a number of co-workers in the movement, was brought up in Camphill. His father was one of that pioneer group from Vienna who founded the first Camphill community in Scotland in 1940.
On the chair?
Right up here, Emily. Emily, here, lift up. Almost.
The Pietzners, like many of the Camphill co-workers I met, seem alert to the dangers of Camphill becoming too set in its ways.
I think Camphill is a living organism, and it will continue, hopefully, to live and grow, which also means it will change. And I hope that we can all, as members of the community, stay awake to the need in the world, as it changes also.
And there's a tremendous amount of work for us to do to create healing and therapeutic places where there is a need. And the need is rampant and widespread.
Shoot, Betsy!
New needs, new communities. Back in Britain, a very different project on the outskirts of Middlesborough in the northeast of England. On land loaned by the council, Camphill has established a day centre which provides work, training and support to the long-term unemployed and the socially disadvantaged in an area that's been through difficult times. There's a resident core of 7 co-workers, together with 12 people with special needs.
Oh, definitely, I'm sure you...
And in this connection, the mentally handicapped are really part of the co-workers, because without them we couldn't really do what we are able to do here, because they are so much more able to build the human bridges. We as co-workers are, by and large, very much more reserved, as they just reach out to the people without any hesitations. And this really makes our life and our work here so much more productive and fruitful.
Well, there's also a farm here. What people we do in the shift muck. Do you shift? Do you do gardening?
Sometimes.
Yes.
What else do you do?
I sometimes cut the grass with big scissors. Like my green underwear, like my red shirt. Like my red shirt.
Nice.
You're 50, aren't you?
How did you know?
You told me you were 50.
Did I?
Yes.
I'm 51, actually.
What was you enjoying the war?
A baby.
Yeah, you weren't in anything. We're not as old as my dad.
I like to say we're a community with a hole in it, somehow, where people can come in and out, and through that hole, I think, the community actually grows and develops in another way than, say, a community which is more self-sufficient. I think it's an extension of what's happening in Camphill. I think in this 50th year, the Camphill communities, wherever they are actually becoming more involved in the world around them. And I would say that Larchfield is a kind of expression of that.
Hello, Uncle Ralph, I'm on television. Hello, Uncle Ralph, I'm your nephew, David Allen Swales. I used to work at Herrimus Day Centre in Middlesborough, and now I'm at Larchfield Day Centre, and I do a lot of hard work like a good lad. What do you think about me? Give me a wave, Uncle Ralph.
The fact that we're now right on the edge of Middlesbrough here, on this farm, this 130-acre farm, which is very close and has a very special connection to the whole of South Middlesbrough. That's really the key to what's happening here at Larchfield.
Middlesbrough Council asked Camphill to come here and is helping to fund the project. It's Camphill's first attempt in Britain at a day centre and a response to new needs. Meanwhile, attitudes all over the world to the problems of those who are in some way handicapped are changing fast, often influenced by the pioneer work of places like Camphill. The move towards integration, for example, of encouraging those with handicaps to live in the community, is an approach that Camphill supports, but with reservations.
Now, in the past decade, the idea of integration, of not creating ghettos for the handicapped, has spread a lot. And there's something very true about it, because we don't want to part, on one hand, the normal people, so-called normal people, on the other hand, the handicapped people. And of course, the will of integration is something absolutely positive. Yet, one can observe that it has been done very often in a not quite right way, because it's not enough just to close down the institutes and say now the handicapped people have to live in society, because they do need a special help, a special support. And a real integration is only possible then when we are willing to live together with them an absolutely normal social life.
In the village of Saint-Pré, near Geneva, is a Camphill attempt to create a home for a small group of adults who are handicapped but who want to live in society, ideally to have jobs and above all contact with those whom we call normal. Vincent and Philippe help out in the village. This morning it's cleaning the windows of the local cafe. They and 4 others are in the care of a house mother, Elizabeth Wieder. They also help her run the newsagent and gift shop, and all of them live with her above the shop.
Philippe and Vincent are very capable handicapped people. They can work quite well. They can do gardening, they can do some cleaning, they even can earn easy things, they can paint with watching, but what they cannot do is do regular work. One day they will do it very well, next day not too well, and the third day maybe Vincent is not going to work at all. There is a very strong wish for normalization. They want to integrate into normal life, but the problem is that they are not accepted in social life. And that's what we are doing here. They go out to work. Some of them even work in the village, but in the evening they have a cozy home where they are accepted, and we spend the evening with them. On weekends we go out with them, we do things together. And that's what gives them the security which they do not find if they live alone in an apartment.
Recently, Camphill has also started providing places for adults who are too handicapped to cope with the workshop routine of most Camphill villages, and who would otherwise probably be institutionalized. Thornage Hall in Norfolk was founded in 1988. With 50 acres of grounds, they certainly need some people who can work. but others are able to contribute in a different way. Janice is 30 years old and has cerebral palsy. It's a condition that above all impairs her ability to speak and to control her limbs.
That doesn't matter. We'll get it down later. Right. Shall I take yours now? Or you take mine? Take that one.
Back in 1967, I filmed Janice at the Camphill School in Aberdeen at a clinic with Dr. Weiss.
Now, show me the star. No, show me the star. That's right. And show me the circle. The circle. No, the circle. That's the triangle. Yes. And this up there is the circle. That's right, yes.
She has to complete.
Extraordinarily suggestive.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish everybody were like that.
Like all the adults with handicaps in Camphill communities in Britain, Janice receives a grant from social services. Her parents pay nothing to Camphill. She's an only child. Her father's a retired market gardener.
Fine. Hello. Enjoying it? Show me what you're doing.
You'd like to show Thomas your painting?
Oh, you don't do that for me at home, do you?
Oh, but that is beautiful. That is really beautiful.
That is
Very lovely.
All by
You've done it all alone? Yes.
Is someone standing next to you?
Yeah, that's very nice. Now, which is the red color? The red. That's right, yes. And the yellow? That's it. Very good. Very good. She's also intelligent enough to know that if of two things it is not the one, it must be the other.
Yes.
Yes.
There's geese there. There's geese there. Have you enjoyed that? Yes, enjoyed it. And they got roadworks at Yarmouth. We went into Norwich Cathedral.
What did you do there?
We saw
Norbert Hoffman runs Thornage Hall, together with his wife, Corrie, and 7 co-workers.
Janice is certainly our most handicapped girl we have here, but she is remarkably determined to be here and to lead the life we live in Camphill. With her determination and her strong willpower, she's able to contribute quite a lot. She can weave quite well, but on the whole, I would say Janice's strength lies in the social sphere. She's a very, very positive element to have. She calls on the better part in the others because she always needs that little bit of care, which the others don't. So the others are called on to consider her, which is a very positive thing.
If she'd have stayed at home, I'm sure, and myself, we would have smothered her with love, and we
spoilt her. Really?
We would just spoilt her. We do it now, even though she's just age of 30, we still do it. And it's, you know, I mean, these people make them so independent, and they make them feel that they are people. They can do things in life. They're just not helpless people. They bring out the best of them. And I think that since Janice has been at the Camphill Rudolf Steiners and the Camphill communities, they have brought the best out of her, more than we'd have ever done.
And it was a very hard thing to do, but I don't think either of us have ever regretted it, because she's always seemed so happy, hasn't she?
Well, yes, she's well, she was just gone sick when we had to take her to Aberdeen, and well, it's one of the hardest things we've ever had to do in our life, really. You know, to leave a child of 6 in the hands of, well, strangers in a way, and then to come away and leave her there. Ooh, terrible, terrible.
After 22 years with Camphill in Britain, Gunther Lehr returned to his native Germany in the late 70s, back to his own roots. Camphill itself made the same move back in the 50s. The Leonhof was one of the first village communities to be established on German soil. So much of what lies behind Camphill has its origins in the German-speaking world. Above all, Rudolf Steiner and Camphill's founder, Dr. Koenig. Yet the movement came to life in Britain. It was, they believe, a productive and creative meeting between two very different cultures. Gunter Lehr worked at the school in Aberdeen and later at Botten Village in Yorkshire.
But I must say, though the countries, of course, have a different character, and the people have a different mentality, but with the handicapped people, you felt immediately at home, familiar.
Das ist schön. Hast du schon dein Schreibtisch und deinen Schrank vom Hermannsberg bekommen?
Noch nicht, aber
Immer noch nicht.
In Germany, as in Britain, the state helps the Camphill communities with grants and fees. But the bakery and the various workshops are an important element in the economy of a Camphill village.
Wendelin, du, weißt du, ich soll dich grüßen. Von wem? In Flausach vom Rudi Schorern von der Katharina.
Danke.
Ich war doch in Österreich zu Besuch.
Liebenfels.
Liebenfels, ja.
Ja.
Ja, ja.
Und wie geht's denen dort allen?
Gut, ja. Geht ihnen gut.
Freut mich.
They don't really judge you with their intellect, but they come to you open-hearted, most of them, and want to experience your person, you know? Not so much what you know, but what you are, really. And this is the blessing, I would say, as they haven't got this cynical criticism of today's intellectual approach.
Gunther is just back from his holiday, so greetings are even warmer than usual.
Ja, nett, du. Ist gut. Was du da an der Hand? Machst du Kisten, ja? Werde einlegen, ja? Gut.
And living with the handicap, it surely has an effect on your own make-up. You see the other one with his future possibilities, and not only with his shortcomings and failures he's bringing towards you, but with what he can become.
"22 years ago, Gunther was himself working with wood in the workshop at Botten Village in Yorkshire. And one Saturday evening in the autumn of 1967, we filmed Gunther with his household, reading from the Bible, as they still do in Camphill all over the world, in preparation for the service on Sunday.
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Die alte Erde waren vergangen, und auch das Meer war nicht mehr. Und weiter sah ich die heilige Stadt, das neue Jerusalem. Aus dem Himmel senkte sie sich herab, aus dem Bereiche der Gottheit selbst. In
Car le premier ciel et la première terre avaient disparu, et la mer n'était plus. Et je vis descendre du ciel.
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride, adorned for her husband.
Denn der erste Himmel und die erste Erde sind verschwunden, und das Meer ist nicht mehr. Und ich sah die heilige Stadt, das neue Jerusalem, von Gott her aus dem Himmel herabkommen, gerüstet wie eine Braut.
La nouvelle Jérusalem, préparée comme une épouse qui s'est parée pour son époux.
For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God, out of heaven, prepared as a bride, adorned for her husband.
Were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, came down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride, adorned for her husband.
The founder of Camphill, Dr. Koenig, had an image of Camphill as a candle on a hill, and in those grim days around 1940, it certainly must have been a light in the darkness. By 1967, the principle of children with different handicaps helping one another was firmly established, and the movement had grown considerably and is growing still. And as Camphill has expanded, the co-workers have always acknowledged that their efforts to live as a community only work because of the very special qualities that those who are handicapped bring to daily life. More than 20 years after my first visit to Camphill, my own impression is that the movement is alive and well, looking forwards rather than backwards as it celebrates its 50th anniversary. And in a world that many see as in too great a hurry and too clever for its own good, those who are in some way handicapped present all of us, it seems, with the chance, the challenge to slow down, to think again.
Avec ta main gauche. Oui. Regarde ton travail. Regarde ta belle écharpe. Regarde.